Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Deadeye here, and if you've already been familiar with the channel, then welcome back. And if you're new, let me just let you know, if you happen to be down for chilling, relaxing, maybe playing games in a bit of a stranger way, but still effectively, and just having fun all around, you have definitely reached the right place. Stick around and see what it is that we've got in store for you today, maybe to be a bit of fun. And if you stick around long enough, you might even be able to see something that you didn't even happen to know. Thanks for checking in.
This time on Warframe.
Just as promised, in the last video, we're going to show you today how to take Limbo on an Eidolon hunt and keep yourself absolutely safe and 100% invulnerable and be able to deal with the Eidolon really easy. So first, we're going to start off with our Moderai. This is what Limbo's going to be running. I don't happen to have the passive way bounds fully upgraded, but what it is that I do happen to have upgraded is Phoenix Talons and Phoenix Spirit. Void Radiance was just to get to Void Strike, which as well happens to be maxed out, which gives you 8 attacks to deal 12% additional damage for every second spent cloaked in Void mode when you're in your operator, which really happens to help out with taking down the Eidolon shields. Yeah, but that's what I'm running. Zenuric is what Harrow is going to be running. So I don't know what it is that the mic that I went with out into the plains, I don't know what he happened to have had on his Zenuric, but I know that he does happen to have a fully maxed out energizing dash, which is basically all you're really worried about. But anyway, so we're going to move on. I don't happen to have any arcanes for my amp or my operator, so I do happen to understand that there are lots of ways to make it easier for me. But anyway, onto my amp. It's the old Eidolon killer build with the Schwack Prism, Pincha Scaffold, and the Jutney Brace. It's honestly really weak compared to a lot of the other ones that happen to be out. Just displaying here that I don't happen to have any amp arcanes. But anyway, let's get on to the meat of the video. Let's get to Limbo. So we happen to have Limbo Prime, and this is what I'm going to be running during the Eidolon excursion. You see that I happen to have as many mods to boost my duration and my range as possible without any negative. So that way I can keep a big bubble for a long duration. As well, my arcanes. Arcane Rage, note with the update they changed it from rifle damage to primary weapons, which is really awesome, so that way it can work even with without my Lenka. It'll work with whatever now, so that's really awesome. I as well happen to have Arcane Momentum to help out with reload speed for my Lenka, which really happens to do a lot. A special note here that I happen to have Rolling Guard on my Limbo, so that way when I dodge out of the rift, I can be invincible for a little bit. I still need to max that out there. And as well, I have formatted him for a Deadeye aura mod, so that way we can get that extra Lenka damage. At the very least, this is what you want your stats to look like. I've got my 4 to be able to last 1 minute, and we're also going to be using our 2 to keep the Vomvalis frozen, so that way they cannot give the Eidolon shield or help him in any way or even damage us. So the stasis is for 30 seconds and the cataclysm is for 60 seconds. So it really happens to help out a lot. As well, the streamline on my build gives me a little bit of efficiency, so that way I don't need to worry about it. And while in the rift, I'll be gaining back energy, as well as the energy siphon that'll be on Harrow. But anyway, moving on. What your Harrow is going to be doing basically is utilizing his 4. That's why we have a build here with maximum duration. We do have fleeting expertise on, so that way it doesn't cost a lot of energy to cast it, and it's really, really cheap. But the duration is still long enough to where when Harrow's buff for being invincible to try to get the crit damage is long enough to where you can shoot off a limb, or who knows, to do whatever it is that you happen to need to do during that time. But as you can see here from my mods, all duration mods at the top, goodness. I put a flow so that way there's more energy, fleeting expertise, streamline of course, and because I had the room I went ahead and threw on rolling guard as well. Mike didn't happen to have it, but if you have something else that can fit, I also had put arcane rage and momentum on my Harrow, and as well since he's already got a dash, energy siphon, which just helps out with getting more energy while being inside of the rift. Yeah. Moving on to his stats. As you can see here, I've got a 15.66 second duration, and it only costs 30 energy to cast. So whenever it is that it needs to be cast, it can be cast. No problem. So basically what it is that we're going to be working on with Limbo is with all the Vombalus, we're going to be utilizing our 4. So what I'm going to show you here first is now I'm in the Rift, and I've got level 80 heavy gunners shooting at me, and they can't hurt me. So I'm going to show you that you can put them in the bubble and what happens when you forget to put on your stasis. Typically you die very quickly, especially with higher level enemies. But moving on, when you remember to put on your stasis first, however, and you place a bubble, they all become frozen. And as long as you've got that little bit of power strength, they will remain frozen, and you don't keep an overly abundant amount of enemies, and you can do whatever it is that you want. Now with rolling guard, special mention, you see I dodge out of the rift here, and I'm invincible for a moment. That allowed me to do what it is that I was trying to do. But, you know, with putting all that together, as well, Harrow here, utilizing his 4 that I'm showing here. It's just the 15-second duration. How my life bar happens to be completely grayed out. There's no way that anybody could damage me, and we're going to be using this to shoot out the limbs. But throwing all of that together, let's get to the video. So what it is that I'm doing here, I sped up the time a little bit because getting the lures and the Vombalus can always be a bit of a pain. And honestly, I'm not exactly the best at flying the arc wing at low levels like that, so I tend to crash and get stuck. But so we get 2 lures, as usual. Same thing that you typically happen to see on every single Eidolon killer build, or I'm sorry, killer video. But yeah, I've got my 2 lures, and now I'm looking for Vombalus to fill them with. And then we can get started on the Eidolon. Unfortunately, this is like the most grueling part about it. But fortunately enough, we happen to get them pretty quick here. But what we're going to be doing with Limbo is freezing the Vombalus inside of the void. And then we have to shoot them with our Warframe to get them off of the first stage. And then we'll shoot them with our operator to destroy second stage. Now key here as well is with my operator, I try to get underneath him to shoot as much of him as possible, so that way I can get the best best out of my shot. I just use my 1 for my amp. It's nothing impressive, but you could imagine as to having a better amp would make things more a lot faster. Showing that you can dodge attacks while being inside of the rift with your Warframe. Freezing this Vombalist here and displaying, like I had said, kill it with your Warframe first, then your operator. And this way, even inside of the rift in your bubble, you see, and I dance around here in a moment, inside of the rift, the Eidolon cannot hurt the lures or your Warframe, but the Eidolon can still damage you. Now we just got his shields down, and then I told Mike to hit his 4, and then we both aimed at the same body part and took it down as quickly as possible before that timer happens to run out. He didn't happen to quite have as much duration as I did. His lasted for about 10 seconds, but as you can see, it got the job done, no problem. Throwing down a new bubble here while he's doing his scream, it does not hurt our Warframes nor the lures that we happen to have. So we are completely 100% safe, not only outside when we use Harrow's 4, but inside when we use Limbo's Rift, because even if he kills our operator, we just go back into our Warframe and he can't touch us there. But stick around, see how it turns out by the end of the video, and maybe by then some of you players dissing on Limbo will realize how awesome he truly happens to be.
Spike. I have bodies falling back. Spike. I have bodies falling back. Smaller sentients rush to the Eidolon's aid, healing it. Stop them. Sentient energy contained. You are closing on victory. Act now.
eventually I will work out how to do the other Eidolons, but until then, this is just a little taste of what it is that Limbo can do. And there you have it. Duo Eidolon capture with Limbo and Harrow, completely safe, but we had weak sauce amps. Goodness, the only way that this could really be improved upon would of course be to get better amps and to maybe bring a chroma along with us for the limb killing part. But hopefully now you understand as to what an awesome duo that these two happen to make for taking out an Eidolon and how simple it happens to be. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Peace.